רגע, ניקח את המיקרופון. הלו, מה אומרים חברים? אוקיי, אז עכשיו אני עליתי ללייב. על הדרך רואה קצת תיאוריות, מדבר על החיים. הלו. אלרועי, מה אומר אחי יקר אתה? בוא ניכנס לקרוא את הצ'אט, למה זה דרך הסוני, שנייה אחת. עולים לדיוויז'ן 5 הלייב, חזרתי מוקדם היציאה, קצת שיאמם, בוא נפתח, יאללה רגע. אוי לא, אוקיי, איך אני עושה את זה בכלל? שנייה, שיט. נו, רגע, שנייה, אני קורא מה אתה רושם, אחי יקר. אני משחק כשאני רואה את הטלפון, כאילו... שיט, אוקיי. לא, שיט, הוא חטף. רגע. נכנסנו. מה איתך אחי? לא נמאס מחר במשחק הזה? וואלה נמאס אחי, אבל אין משהו אחר לשחק, אתה מבין? מה איתך אחי? לא נמאס מחר במשחק הזה? וואלה נמאס אחי, אבל אין משהו אחר לשחק, אתה מבין? מחר בצהריים כנראה אני הולך לשחק דה פיינלס קצת עם חבר טוב. כאילו דה פיינלס זה לא כיף אם אתה לא משחק עם חברים. אין משהו מעניין היום כאילו לשחק, זה רק החרא הזה. אוקיי, בוא נניח קצת את הלייב, למה זה מעצבן אותי. אוקיי, אולי אתמול הייתי בהופעה של חבר, עושה הופעת מחוות מייקל ג'קסון, משהו טוב. באמת היה פסיכי הרבה לפנות בוקר, אבל היום חזרנו מוקדם, לא נגענו בזה הרבה זמן. לא, אחי, אתה לא עובר את יורו אחי. טוב, אמבפה, רונלדו מהיר, 97 פייס, סיבוב קטן, שמאלה, לא. אני אמרתי את מי שיחק כמו מתי שיש, אתם מנסים כאילו פיפה הבא. וואלה אחי, מובן, את האמת. וואי, עשיתי הגיל באוזן שמאל, ואני שם בדרך כלל את האוזניות שלי על אוזן שמאל, אז די חרה, אבל את המשימות לשנה הבאה. שמע, אין לי כל כך מה לשחק אחי, הסוני היום מת אחי, שאני מסוני, חבר שלי ממחשב, אין מה לשחק אחי, אז אני נכנס לפיפה. אולי כל המשחקים נמאסו אחי, אני חושב על להתחיל סדרת קריירה אחי בשלב הזה. לא אחי, אתה לא מכניס את זה. ולא התרכזתי בכדור. אוקיי. רונלדו אופסייד. שמע, הפיפה יקרה, אבל יקרה ממש, כאילו יקרה ממש. הפיפה החדשה, כאילו אני כנראה גם אקנה את הכי יקר נראה לי, כאילו כי אני משחק הרבה פיפה, אבל זה יקר בקטע רע, כאילו אני לא יודע אם זה כזה סבבה לקנות את זה. זה לא, בוא נגיד ככה, זה הוצאה שלא תבוא לי באלן אלן. זה עולה כמו 2 כרטיסי קול אחי, זה עולה כמו כרטיס קול ממש סבבה. ורמקולים אחי, זה עולה כמו איירפודס. זה כאילו גם, אני אגיד לך עוד משהו, כאילו כל כמה זמן אחי פיפה מוציאה פיפה מטורפת, או שזה חרא ממש, נגיד. פיפה 25, אחי, היה זבל. באמת, זבל טהור, אחי, לא יכולתי לגעת במשחק. 26, חצי שנה זבל, חצי שנה טוב. בוא נחשוב על עוד פיפות, איזה עוד פיפות היה... 24 היה סביר, 23 היה טוב. מה נסגר פה בעצם? איי. טוב, עכשיו אין לו עוד למי למסור. ומה זה היה המסירה המצוינת הזאת של הארי קיין? וואלה, הוא די מה? לוריס אפילו לא קפץ לעצור את זה. טוב, נראה לי אני מחליף את רונלדו. קורזמה שלי יכול לגעת יותר בכדור, אחי. אני מעדיף אבל לשחק עם אוליסה. למה אוליסה, וואלה, שחקן אחד הטובים. היה חודשיים בהתחלה, טוב, את האמת, ההתחלה של ה-26 היה מצוין. היה לי כל כך כיף. באמת, החודשיים הראשונים, אפילו 3, היה לי ממש כיף. ואז הייתה תקופה שפשוט הפרומים לא היו טובים, הקלפים לא נהניתי מלשחק איתם. אז למה להשקיע, אתה מבין? אתה לא כזה נהנה באמצע. ככה זה בדרך כלל, אבל בפיפות ההתחלה שלהם היא אחלה, כאילו, בהתחלה הם מצוינים, ואז אני פשוט פח. איזה ילד דומו. תעשה, אחי, צא מהטריקסטר כבר, אחי. רד מהטריקסטר. אני כזה טוב. אבל לא הכנסתי, אוי. איזה ילד כפות. אם לוריס לא היה יוצר את זה. שמע, אבל נגיד, מה, אני אשחק פורטנייט, אחי? אני אעשה לייב פורטנייט רנק. אם אני נכנס לפורטנייט זה כשמשעמם לי ואני משחק זירו בילד. גם הוא עם הפרשות, טוב, נו. גם לישקו, מה זה החרא הזה? פלא. אני אעשה לו זידן. מה? הוא היה בקו הגנה של הלפטבק. מה? עוד אופסייד? או שאני עיוור או שזה הכוון, אני כבר לא יודע. אתה לא תעצור את זה וזה יהיה גול. וואלה, גם אני, אחי, פעם הייתי משחק בזה מלא. אבל תקשיב, אחי. הפורטנייט ספל של משחק, אחי. אני משחק כולי בסבבה שלי. זירו בילד, אחי. אני ברגיל, אחי, יש כל כך הרבה בוטים, זה לא כיף. אבל אם זה לא בוטים, זה הילדים, אחי, לא יצאו מהבית יותר מ3 שנים. באמת. זה גם... אני ברנק של סילבר. זה לא אמור להיות כזה מזיעים. כאילו... זה אפילו לא שחקנים טובים, זה כאלה שמשעמם להם בחיים. שפיל אותי מנהגי. מה? טוב, נו. תודה רבה. גם לי מגיע לקבל לא אופסיידים. כמובן שזה יהיה ממש הגיוני וכיף. כי צ'ואמני עוף לי מהפנים. אני מכניס את פאצ'ו. אז זה לישון לילה טוב, אחי. נו. ליל מנוחה. זה מראה לי שגם אני צופה, זה מראה שאני גם בתור צופה בלייב, נראה לי, כי אין איזה עוד הסבר. לילה טוב, אחרונה. אני גם אמור ללכת לישון, האמת צריך לקום ב8, מחרתיים לקום ב9. איזה לא ריאלי. מחר יש לי משמרת, יום שישי יש לי משמרת. אני מבקש שחברים שלי יראו אותי בבוקר, כי יבואו לבית שלי להעיר אותי. למה אין מצב, אני קם ככה. אין מצב, אחי, מה זה הדבר הזה? רד מהטריקסטר, אחי. טוב, עכשיו אין צופים, אז אפשר להמשיך לעשות דום סקרול. תודה רבה, אמבפה, קח את הכדור, לוריס. זה לא היה הארי קיין, נכון? לא, אימא'לה. תודה רבה, לוריס. תביא לו כדור שטוח. אוליסה, איש. לא רונלדו. אופסייד. בסדר. אני שטקן על הגנגס. צריך אותה פשוטה, יצא פרק חדש. איזה הצלה. אהבתי. כאילו, ההגנה שלי לא תהיה למסור לקישור. לא, פאצ'ו ואמבפה. אני אוהב את החיבור שלכם. הכדור שלי, להוציא להגנה. הגנה מוציא להתקפה. התקפה מוציא להתקפה. התקפה מוציא... לא! איזה נכה. מה? מה? בוא נראה אם זה באמת עובד. זה לא מעביר לי. וואו, אוקיי, די השתיק לי אותו. דקה 70, אחי. לא. זה כולה 3-0. תעשה את זה שוב עם השוער, תעשה. מה? הארי קיין מעולם לא נתן מסירה כל כך טובה. תודה רבה, נעביר להתקפה. התקפה, עושה התקפה. מאבד כדור כמו שצריך. אחרי זה הגנה, עושים הגנה כמו שצריך. ברלה לא משיג את הכדור. יש לברלה תפקיד אחד ולהשיג כדורים. להיות מהיר ולהביא לי כדורים. לא, אחי, לא. מה זה, מה ההגנה שלי עושים? מה התפקיד פה? ההגנה זה בשביל סתם לכיף. זה לא אדום. תודה רבה, עכשיו יש לי באמת סיכוי לעשות קאמבק. לא אדום? תודה רבה. אין דבר כזה, תיקון מסוכן. ישר לרגליים של פלא, פלא עושה טיקי טיק, לא עובד לו כי אין לו קשר אפילו. פאצ'ו. לא עובד לו. התקפה האחרונה. התקפה האחרונה. זה אדום. אדום. להתקפה האחרונה אין לו בלם. סבבה. לא מאמין לך. לא מאמין.
את האפליקציה, פיתחו חשבון ב7 דקות.
That might sound crazy. It might sound crazy. You'll take the wrong way. I'm pushing 18. I'm trying to get her to make OnlyFans. It's like not.
Yeah. Growing up, falling in the middle of Ball Zion Williamson hype thing. You were probably watching Ball in the Family, a reality show that was centered around the Ball family, all right, led by the big Balla himself. But if Ball in the Family wasn't your cup of tea, you were craving a high school basketball reality TV show, then your only other option was Hello Newmans.
Prodigy brand over here. Forget that BBB. Put an X through it.
Put an X through it. With father Jamie Newman pushing his son Julian as the next basketball prodigy. Because even at an extremely young age, Julian was already attracting millions of views from his amazing dribble package. All right, here he is on Good Morning America, showing off his repertoire. All right. And his dream was simple, all right, to become the greatest NBA player the world has ever seen. But his sister, on the other hand, Jada Newman, had a slightly more complex dream. She wants to become the first female NBA player, not WNBA, like Ennis Cannon. If you can't quite remember who Jaden was, but she looks familiar, she's also the girl who did this.
Can you follow me back on Instagram?
Yeah, all right.
Huh?
All right. That's Jada Newman. This is actually a clip from their reality show, all right? The Hello Newmans show, and you're probably wondering at this point, why am I talking about the Newmans in the Big 26? Well, unfortunately, recently, Jada Newman's Snapchat got hacked. Videos of her, doing the deed have been released on the internet. I didn't get to see the leaks myself. However, just based off the news, apparently this was really bad. It's a super sad situation. But instead of doing what every family should do, all right, protecting the daughter, okay, the sister, Newmans are actively capitalizing off of this leak. Going on like a press run, all right? We're talking TikTok lives, making multiple podcast appearances, making YouTube videos, laughing and joking about the situation. Like, this is a YouTube thumbnail that Julian Newman himself uploaded. I don't even think that's Julian. The AI prompted this thumbnail. Like, what am I looking at? Watching how their entire family is handling this situation is exactly on brand with how the Newmans were growing up. Because if you go back and watch the Hello Newman show, all the show contained of was two things, okay? Just the dad, Jamie, yelling at Julian, or it's them capitalizing off the Ball family. And surprise, surprise, the kid didn't make the NBA. The dad was like 5'4", right? You slap the prodigy label on your son. You're setting up your son for success there, right? And of course, Julian goes on to play college, but just doesn't work out at all. Games 23-109, and naturally, the family's hype starts to die down.
Kyrie, let's play some ones. You feel me? Steph, all respect to Steph, but Steph, he can't give me no ones. I ain't gonna lie.
In an attempt to come back to relevancy, Julian starts going on podcasts saying the most outlandish things that you can imagine. Basically just farming, rage baiting, okay? Learning from his father. And he tries to merge into the 1v1 scene, starts getting in some scuffles, which ultimately led him towards the influencer boxing scene. He's doing whatever it takes to get back to relevancy on the other hand. And unfortunately for them, when this leak came out of his sister, he tries to do it again.
Let's talk about it, man. Since y'all want to be weird, acting like y'all sisters don't be getting thrashed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't be getting cracked, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't crack some of y'all sisters, man. I just, man.
So at first, he tries to defend his sister, right? Although there was like a little joke there at the start, at least he's, doing what a big brother is expected out of him. I thought for the first time in my life, I was starting to see more of the human side of Julian Newman. Until I get to the 136 mark in this video.
To look at the brighter side of things, on a positive note, she's gonna be bigger than Kim K, man. Like,
oh, you know, that's a good way to look at it, Julian. You know, I never really thought about it from that angle. Glass half full mentality. Like, it's the right mindset you got there, Jules.
she an actual millionaire, bro. She not worried about none of that. This just made her more rich. We finna make her Kim K level.
What is he talking about? This guy just compared his younger sister to Kim Kardashian. I understand you're trying to defend your sister, but this is not the right time to flex money and views. The pain doesn't end here, all right? Then he takes his talents over to TikTok Live.
Did he watch the video? No. Stop asking me that. Alright, I'll be honest.
The farming doesn't end here either, because he then starts making guest appearances on multiple podcasts. First podcast here is One Night with Steiny, okay? It's the same podcast where MPJ said this.
But I'll throw on some entertain and see how they react.
Yeah.
And he proceeds to have this interaction with host Steiny.
So I obviously saw the stuff of your sister.
Yeah.
I went and checked it out.
Told me you spent a couple hours on that.
I checked it out. Not a couple hours. Like less, probably an hour. Fire, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was pretty good.
No.
What? It was good. I wanted to do my research. Okay, well I went and checked it out.
His mom right there.
Listen, I'm a straight shooter. I keep it real.
Low-key
His
acting.
own mother was in the same room while they had that interaction just now. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I share this planet with these type of people. I am bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok, led astray at the fact that I just witnessed that podcast interaction. That might be the worst basketball podcast moment in the history of human civilization. And listen to how Julian responds to this.
Yo, he's wildin', bro. He's hilarious. I mean, bro. Yeah, you allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah.
In the public.
Yeah, it's all good. I just watched an hour of my sister getting plowed. It's chill. Then to make things better, all right, a little less heated in the podcast room, they bring over like a boxing championship belt to wrap around his shoulder, make him feel better about himself, I guess. And later on, they ask him what his initial reaction was when these tapes were leaked.
For a few days, I was pissed. Told my dad I ain't Twitter, all types of stuff for sure. You realize you can't do nothing about it, and why not capitalize off it? They saying all that they saying before I said anything.
So you heard it from the man himself, all right? If you can't do anything about it, it's gonna be on the internet forever anyways. Why not capitalize off it?
So why not come out and defend yourself and explain what happened and let the world know she can't be bigger than Kim K? Because like you said, you need Ray J for that video.
Me.
You need.
I don't know if you're big enough.
That would be huge. I'm not asking. I'm just
Come
saying,
on,
like,
Steiny. No, she would never, gang. Come
You don't
on,
think
man.
so?
That was a
I just can't believe they're making these types of jokes in front of him, his mom, and they're not doing anything about it. But then they go on a second podcast. Now this podcast is the one. Alright, listening to this one this morning felt like entering a coal mine. The first thing that the host does is explicitly state that this time the dad is in the room.
Tell me about your dad's role in it, which for the record, he is in the room, so...
He paved the way for people like the Ball brothers. Like obviously they're far $300 million contracts, but we came before then. All you have is, you know, like I said, Joe Jackson and Serena Williams' father, like Tiger Woods' father, like that.
Joe Jackson, Earl Woods, Richard Williams, Jamie Newman. This has to be advanced CTE. But later on in the podcast, he then explains why he didn't make the NBA.
Certain things that happened in my career, in my life, that were like not my fault. When it comes to like I had an agent out of high school, he had bigger like NBA clients and stuff. So he was selling us a dream. We go here, we go there. If not, we go G League, and basically we spent our time there. Basketball wise, messed that up. I could go overseas and still, you know, get paid to play basketball, like El Salvador or, you know, China or whatever. But I get paid more to be an influencer staying here in America.
Yeah, you know, I turned it down. Overseas basketball? I don't do that. Big man in Jacksonville offered me 15, 10, 5 million. No, I turned it down. Chose to be an influencer boxer instead. Then we get to hear from Jaden, the real victim in this entire situation, and what her initial reaction was like after these leaks went out.
Yeah, I cried for sure. And then after I just came to realization, like, it's like my parents were saying, like, it's already out there, there's nothing you can do about it. So at this point, just gotta capitalize off of it.
So it's clearly the parents that feel like they haven't printed enough money, enough views, engagement off their 2 kids. And after a situation where their daughter gets leaked, they still feel like it's not enough. They need more.
Sound crazy. It sound crazy. You'll take it the wrong way. I put you 18. I try to get her to make OnlyFans because of the spike. Now not.
And that's when I turned it off. Or I'm not gonna lie, if there was something else later on that was useful, informational, I don't care. So of course, although the fuel that the family is pouring on Jaden Newman's fire, the internet starts making videos like,
Would you rather be 650 pounds or Julian Newman right now?
you know, clowning him. You already know Club 520, right? The Jeff Teague podcast was gonna be on this, all right? Apparently B-Head said something about how good she is at dribbling balls. Well, Julian Newman then made a response.
One of the bros then sent me a little clip of the Jeff Teague Sorry Ass podcast. What's it called? 520 or something? First of all, who listened to that shit, for one? Second of all, you over here clowning Pops, working me out when I'm 10 years old, bruh. That's the #1 training video of all time. It got 20-something million views. You didn't work out to it, no cap. Who the fat dude on there too? Little fat ass always running his mouth, talking about, oh, his sister know how to do some other butt. You a clown, bro. When she was a young girl, you was to her. You know what I'm saying? You weird as hell. Get some pussy in real life, bro.
The video he's referencing is this video, okay? 19 million views, released in 2014. Jeff Teague was on the host at this point, right? Well, so once again, he's baiting. Jeff Teague doesn't really care, right? He kind of just let this slide. B-Head, on the other hand,
Don't do that like you want to fight, though. I don't like that. Then you said I your little sister, bitch. I didn't even know y'all. You trying to send these empty ass threats? I would smack the f out of it. I was like, damn, he sent the empty threats. You the one said you gonna pimp the child, and where's the daddy? Fire that nigga. Your stupid ass daddy, he already lost 103 to 12 last year, so clearly you can't coach. Oh my mama, this is a bitch.
I just don't understand why this family is going down this route. Like, why are you taking advantage of your kids? Laughing and joking, showing up on podcasts, monetizing off of this situation. Especially if she got hacked and leaked. Like, this definitely stems from the parents giving out terrible advice, wanting to get more engagement, more views, more money in exchange for public embarrassment of their kids. And now you got Julian running around, losing his mind, trying to laugh along. Like, it's just sad. Let me know what you guys think about the situation. Pray for the...
Can I get this one too?
Told ya it's a great deal.
Wait up, I'm ordering right now.
AI grades versus PSA grades. Carnivore. Holodex gave it a 10, so I was confident. PSA gives it a 10. Yes.
Recently, I asked you guys to submit your NFL takes that you would take to the grave, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm absolutely terrified. Because last time I asked for your NBA takes, and besides seeing submissions from the toilet, the takes themselves were absolutely horrendous. So maybe this time will be more agreeable, and I won't lose my mind. Without further ado, let's get into it. Russell Wilson is the greatest passer of all time. Touch on his throws are better than anyone we have ever seen. Russ is better all time than Aaron Rodgers. The bad start to the video because this is already starting to piss me off. Alright, there's nobody I'd rather have throw the football than Mr. Immunized. I would take ayahuasca if I could sling the pigskin like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, some of the throws that he's made in his career, not just the Hail Marys, right, but some of the red zone throws, right? That sideline throw against the Cowboys. The form is beautiful, the spiral is tight, and more importantly, the ball is accurate, alright? There's nobody that's a better throw of the ball than Aaron Rodgers. Julio Jones was the best wide receiver in the 2010s decade. I'm taking Prime Julio over Prime AB and Megatron. Compare Julio to Megatron, because I think that's more of a direct comparison, right? Both were physical specimens. If we're talking just prime for prime, I'm probably taking Megatron, alright? Just because, like, look at this. I was doing this on the Lions, you know, but I can see why you take Julio over him because, you know, of his career. Like, fear more consistent, more playoff success. However, Antonio Brown, this is where I'm going to draw a line, all right? I know what I saw. I understand this guy was acting like he had severe brain damage towards the end of his career. However, at his absolute peak, all right, the 2016 and 2018, I'd take Antonio Brown, all right? He can play outside, he can play the slot, and run every route and didn't drop the ball. I understand Julio had that catch over Kuechly. All right, I understand Julio had that sideline grab in the Super Bowl. I know what I saw. All right, I'm not gonna let his cryotherapy session or his tweets about Tom Brady's wife alter my perception of what he was like on the field. All right, that was a special player.
I love that.
See, like, I don't even want to hear the tape.
I just think the 49ers are trash. They just keep using injuries as an excuse.
Let me get this straight, bro. You came up with the genius idea of bringing your phone into the shower for the sole purpose of telling me that my 49ers are trash, not because of injury, not because we lost the Super Bowl due to Dre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles, running on the field, because we're just bad. I mean, if you just take a look at our track record, when healthy, we made the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo as our quarterback. Think about that. 2020, we get injured, we're ass. 2021, we get healthy towards the end of the year, we make the NFC Championship game. And then 2023 Conference Championship game. Like, how can you not blame that game game on injuries. When you end the game with Christian McCaffrey at starting quarterback, your first 2 quarterbacks got injured, like, that has to be rage bait. Like there's no way you got in the shower to tell me that.
Hey, my hot take is that Jalen Hurts isn't that bad. He just gets overhated because of Tush Push, because he's an Eagles player.
See, like, how can I make videos of my community if my community acts like this? How can I make the decision once again to get you guys involved in a video if I'm seeing takes being submitted in this manner? Like, why are your feet angling in the background? I can't even pay attention to your take. Jalen Hurts was probably the most talked about player in this forum. Either you guys thought Jalen Hurts was amazing or he was hot ass. And I'm more on the hot ass side. Don't get me wrong. I don't think his offensive system, his offensive coordinator is doing him any favors. But his arm talent is just, it's horrendous, man. It hurts my brain to watch. All right, his arm honestly reminds me of like Drew Brees' last season. NFL players can play in the NBA, but NBA players couldn't play in the NFL. See, now usually it's the other way around, right? People use this argument to disrespect football players, saying that I Show Speed could be a legit NFL player. Now look, if we just look at this from a mathematical perspective, okay, NFL roster 53, NBA roster 15, so mathematically it's just harder to get into the NBA. And I don't know if you've ever played basketball with a football player, but like, those guys aren't making the NBA. Fell out in the first quarter if they even tried it. On the other hand, though, if you were to tell me 2011 LeBron couldn't play football, I don't believe you. I don't care if this is an NFL video. All right, LeBron could have played in the NFL if he wanted to. Justin Herbert is a top 3 quarterback in the league, and with Mike McDaniel with him now, he'll easily win MVP this year on the way to a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, I think Mike McDaniel's a wizard, right? I witnessed it firsthand when he was with us. So it definitely makes Justin Herbert's job a lot easier. However, does this look like a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Soft. All right, look at Josh Allen last season, right? Starts dating Haley Steinfeld, all of a sudden forgets how to play football against the Broncos. Well, you got Tom Brady abandoning his supermodel wife to win rank number 7. It's a real quarterback, all right? You can't do it if you're in love.
Brock Purdy is going to be the next Joe Montana, Steve Young. And I'm not saying the next, but is going to surpass him and going to be the best quarterback that not only the 49ers are ever going to have, but is going to be the next Tom Brady, the next Patrick Mahomes, the face of the entire league, not just the face of the franchise.
I love this take, right? Alright, even if the hairline's a bit crazy, I love this take. How is he necessarily going to be Joe Montana, Steve Young? I'm not sure about that. Brock Purdy's the next Drew Brees. Alright, special talent. Can't wait to see it. Face of the league. Dez caught it. Oh boy, here we go. Y'all ready for my hot take, man? I don't think Dez Bryant caught this ball. Alright, he didn't survive the round. He also bobbles it at the height of it, right? He brings it in there, but once he brings it into his shoulder, that's one step, and then he bobbles. Like, I don't think it's a catch.
CB19, Carson Beck on the Cardinals. Rookie of the year, that'll lead the Cardinals to a wild card spot.
First of all, I've never heard anybody refer to Carson Beck as CB19. Like, I've just never heard that abbreviation. Carson Beck leads the Cardinals to a playoff spot this year. I'll chop my dick off. Alright, that's how confident I am. Mac Jones will be the next Sam Darnold redemption story. The only reason he's not a starting quarterback now is because Belichick and Patricia fumbled his development. Now, this duo was special, alright? Matt Patricia as offensive coordinator, getting close to Adam Gase, right? I think I'd rather have the drooling Patrick call a game from the sideline. It might also be the soup, right? It might not all be on Matt Patricia. I see where you're trying to go with this, right? Sam Darnold, developed by the Niners. Matt Jones, currently being developed by the Niners, right? So, you know, there's some correlation there. At the same time, Matt Jones just feels more like an unserious character than Sam Darnold, all right? He looks like he's having the time of his life. He doesn't look like he's a Super Bowl winning QB. Bo Nix could beat up every other quarterback in the league. See, like, what made you say this? Give me Anthony Richardson. Belt the ass. Bill Belichick is the most overrated coach of all time. He would be coaching Pee-wee football and have a wife his age if it weren't for Tom Brady. Now look, again, he's a strange guy. But that Super Bowl where he held McVay's offense to 3 points, that was a special performance. Similar to Antonio Brown. You know, I'm not going to let what they did after their prime, right? His girlfriend and his general managing skills deter me from what I saw when he was at his absolute peak. If you've watched any of those Patriots documentaries too, you'll know that Bill Belichick was meeting Tom Brady every week to discuss the weaknesses of the opponent's defense and preparing for the likes of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed together. So I think they both needed each other to win those rings. Of course, Tom Brady's more important. He's the quarterback, he's the GOAT. But that doesn't make Bill Belichick overrated.